Good morning. Day 2, here we are. And just to let you know, I've already got my first glass of water. I'm really interested to know how are you finding that? Is it working well for you? Are you struggling with it? Um, how's the water going down? And when do you start noticing, are you feeling better? Like what's going on? So yeah, pay attention to the little details. Excuse me. Hmm. So today we're going to look at the concept of tuning into nothing. Now, I'm going to be asking you to do nothing for at least 5 minutes today and every day going forward. Now, for many of you, that's going to be really difficult, really challenging, because society really frowns on us doing nothing, which is why most of us have taken on so many tasks and are doing so many things in order to be so perpetually busy that we never have time to tune into what's really going on deep inside our souls. So if that feels a little bit like you, then this nothing exercise is going to be really good for you, but it's also probably going to be a little tricky. So there are a couple of different ways to do this. And I know many of you may already have some kind of mindfulness or meditation practice. This particular exercise, it's not really necessary to get all technical about meditation or mindfulness or anything like that. What we're really looking for is just a space where we can be human beings, not human doings. So just check in with yourself and your day. Do you spend from the moment you wake up until the moment you fall into bed at night? Do you spend that perpetually doing something or reminding yourself of all the things you have to do or checking in, what haven't you done yet? So we want to just carve out a little 5 minutes. Now, a lot of this practice has come from this book, The Joy Diet by Martha Beck. And I just wanted to highlight this because this book, about 15 years ago, literally changed my life. So if you've seen it or if you haven't seen it, I thoroughly recommend it. If you're feeling particularly overwhelmed and you want something to really get your teeth in, this is a great little sideline to find. So what Martha says is that we need to create a sense of vacation. Now, the American word vacation, we think of that as a holiday. We're going to go to Greece or, we're going to do something amazing and get away from our daily lives. But she talks about it as we want to go on vacation in that we want to vacate for a moment. So we need to have a mini vacation every single day in order to recharge so that we've got what we need for the rest of the day. So step number 1, when we are planning to do this 5 minutes of nothing, I want you to think about putting up the no vacancy sign wherever you are. So ideally phones off, on silence, make sure nobody's going to come and bash on your door. Find a space, a place. We'll talk about where we're going to do this in a minute, but somewhere where you can be alone and undisturbed. Now, I've said 5 minutes because I promised you that this challenge was only going to take you about 10 minutes a day. Martha recommends a minimum of 15 minutes. So if you're feeling brave, you can go for the 15. But if you're really feeling that would be too much, then stick with 5. And what you really want to do here is nothing. That can be extremely challenging for many of us because our thoughts fill our heads and push us into the state of overwhelm and anxiety. So ideally, you want to just find a comfy place, nice and cozy if it's cold, which it is today, and just kind of sit with your thoughts. And we want to be able to just watch the thoughts. You don't have to empty your mind. You don't have to, force yourself to think of nothing and have this blank canvas. You want to just realize, okay, I'm sitting here and I'm wondering if my horse has got the right blanket on for the weather. Oh, how interesting. So we want to just kind of watch what we're thinking without judging it, without being vicious and mean, and telling ourselves we're not supposed to be thinking that, or we should be doing this, and what a waste of time this is. And, just notice the way your thoughts flow, and just be willing to kind of watch them. As though they were like a procession going past, oh, how fascinating. Oh, look at that. That's interesting. Now, so that's one way to do the nothing, kind of just sitting and doing nothing. You might find that a little bit too challenging right now. You might be in such a state of stress and overwhelm that it feels almost impossible to sit still and do nothing for a moment. I know I've been there at times. And then it can be useful to do some kind of mindless, repetitive activity. So things like walking, even jogging, swimming, something kind of just, even riding. If you sort of do your, go for a walking hack and just kind of like tune into nothing in that period, just for 5 minutes, if your horse will allow that, of course. So that's an option. And the other option that I found very useful is to find a place where you can watch the random movements of nature. So I've found it useful at times to look into a fire. We talk about bush TV. A fire can be hugely mesmerizing, and it can be very comforting to sit and stare into the fire. And I imagine many of us will be having a cozy fire this evening at some point. Another option is to look at the movement of trees or grasses swaying gently in the wind. The sea is another incredible place to sit, whether it's calm or whether it's, stormy. The sea is an amazing place to sit and do nothing. So this is, good luck with this. I know that many of you are going to resist it a little bit and sort of try and squeeze it in somewhere. Honestly, if you do this nothing and carve out your time to do your nothing, and try and extend your time, even if it's by a minute every day, so that you are finding you're doing 15 or 20 minutes of nothing, hopefully by the end of the challenge or even going forward. This is a daily practice that you really want to carry into your life. It will create the space inside you for us to start working with aligning that body, mind, and soul. So have a marvelous day and enjoy being a human being for a few minutes rather than a human doing all the time. I will see you tomorrow.